So it's here, the Valve Index. And the only reason that I care about this is because of Linux support, of course. I've tried the Oculus Rift 2S and the original HTC Vive. Both of them were, VR's fun, but it didn't really blow me away. But the Valve Index, of course, came out with full Linux compatibility and support, so we're going to give it a go and see how it works. We're going to test it on my Debian system down here, running Debian testing, kernel 4.19, versus Connor's Windows 10 computer, and see kind of how the experience differs between the two platforms. So let's go ahead and open it up first. Okay, so they want us to install SteamVR, which I've done. Prepare your play area. Where is here? The computer USB 3.0. The safety breakaway is really cool.
Yeah.
I really like that. Turn on your controllers with the system button at the bottom.
And
it's automatically paired to the headset, that's neat.
Oh, eye distance is on the right.
Wearing your controllers, adjusting your controllers, adjusting your headset.
Do you want to see eye distance adjustment?
Yeah, the IPD is the one at the bottom. So that one's the FOV.
Yeah, look, it like moves the whole front of the headset.
Can you bring it over? Yeah. So that's the FOV, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then the IPD was on the bottom?
Yep. It's a pretty wide range of IPD adjustment.
We have lights on the front of the headset, but no screen at the moment. Oh, yeah, the headset came on.
You should probably put it on your head.
Well, hold on.
Make sure your headset can see basis. Put your headset on.
Put your headset on. Hey! Scale.
Yep.
System buttons. Assuming, do I have to put batteries in them? Or are they charged? Hold it. Oh, there we go. Okay, so controllers are on. Point your controller at the monitor and pull the trigger with your index finger. Okay, so we'll just start from here, I guess?
Yeah, and just draw the perimeter.
So start from here. Go like here, turn this way. Next, I assume advanced mode you can make like cutouts and stuff.
Yeah, you could probably make interesting shapes with.
Yeah, setup is complete. So doing a headset update, right?
Yep.
So it should be firmware updating now.
This could take them. Oh.
Hey, nice. Let's update more devices. Identify controller.
Oops.
Micro USB.
Vive controller. That's interesting.
Oops. Even though they're Type C.
Maybe not.
Maybe? It is plugged in. And then, yeah, it's funny. It thinks it's a Vive controller. What did it say? Restart SteamVR?
Yeah, I think so. I'll wait for it to time out again.
All right, so we have our first bug, but not bad overall. Headset picked up perfectly, so, win some, you lose some. So we'll see if we can figure out why it won't detect. Controller.
Oh, you know what? They're directional. That's the right controller. We were trying to update the left controller, but we plugged the right controller in. That was our fault.
Huh. Oh, okay. They could have made that a little more clear on that second screen, but yeah, that was our fault. Okay, we're good. So it's updating the other controller now. as you can see.
Oh, there it goes.
Hey, that was quick.
Watch it.
Yeah, you probably want to like that.
I'm gonna evacuate.
Yeah. This is really cool. Yeah, this is way better than the Oculus.
Yeah.
Even the, what is it, the 2?
The Rift S.
Yeah, because like I can completely walk around.
Well, and the tracking looks like it's
The
excellent.
tracking is way better. I wonder, I think it's running at 120 now? It's a little stuttery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's tracking or if that's a Linux thing.
Do we want to try lower frame rate?
No, because you see, can you see my view?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like if you look at the Steam logo here, on my view it kind of like jumps around.
I don't see that. I have screen tearing, but
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how it is on Windows.
your frame times aren't quite leaving the target. You're at like 8 milliseconds instead of the 7 that you're shooting for.
That's weird. That's probably what it is, because like, it's a little well, let me launch a game. Alright, so first big issue we've run into is motion smoothing is not supported on older versions of Windows, which this is obviously not Windows. So that's a weird issue. The other issue that we have here is that my GPU frame timing is a little out of where it should be. We're running 144 Hertz. We're looking at frame times of 6.9 milliseconds. We're only getting 8.2, which is a little weird because this is a 1070 Ti. So graphics horsepower is certainly not a lacking factor here. The other issue, where was the camera? The other issue we found so far is it says camera is not available, even though it is most certainly plugged in. So we're gonna swap it to a different port and restart SteamVR and see if that may help. So just for checking, we loaded up HTOP and we don't have a single core that's pinned or anything. We're still getting these weird frame timings. So it may be that we need to launch a game and see how that works. But we're gonna fiddle around. We still can't get that camera to work, so it won't actually detect the camera on the headset. So when you get close to the boundaries, you know, it doesn't phase in reality or any of that, so. Steam strikes again, requiring 32-bit libraries that are not included with the binary because they refuse to fully support 64-bit. Yet again. So we're gonna figure out this library issue. What happened? What did you do? You hit like more options on something?
Oh, I hit the system button to pull up the big picture mode.
Okay, so he hit system button to pull up big picture mode and we got 32-bit library error. Good times. So the other issue I have is it doesn't show up as an audio device, either in Pulse Audio or inside of Steam, which is really weird. When we go look at SteamVR, change playback device, nothing. And so we still have no camera, no Bluetooth, even though I do have Bluetooth, and it is running inside of Blueman. Base stations, no Bluetooth, so I can't do base stations. The USB details aren't showing up for some reason. So we got a lot of problems to figure out. All right, so Connor's brought in his Windows 10 PC. And we got the headset hooked up. And it doesn't show up as a playback device. So we have no audio on Windows either. We see Steam streaming, but nothing else. But we do have the microphone, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so we have the microphone, but we don't have the speakers. So it seems that we have that same issue on Windows and Linux. What? That's kind of weird. Windows thinks that there's an update available for the headset, even though we just did that like not even an hour ago on Linux. But it doesn't detect the controllers need an update, so that's weird. So after the Windows firmware update, it now shows up as an audio device. Nice. Also, on Windows we have camera, which is a little weird, so that doesn't work on Linux either.
That's the biggest thing. I can see you.
Okay, so that's pretty sick. So when you get the camera view working, it shows you the room. That's wicked. There's the cat walking across the ground. That's so wicked. There's me with the camera. Everything works on Windows. Not everything works on Linux, which is quite upsetting. I hope that they will fix that in future updates. I think that camera view is so cool though. You're close to the wall there.
I'm too short.
Ah.
Unless all these guys are like 6'6". What are you saying? Getting close to the wall?
Well, I just
Oh,
saw
I see it.
the grid was showing up, yeah.
You hit my sword. Poke, poke, poke.
Alrighty, well, here you have it. Works pretty well out of the box on Linux. Camera doesn't work, Bluetooth doesn't work. But everything else worked. We did the room setup and all that was just fine. I think the movie's gonna whack me. Everything works perfectly on Windows. Kind of upsetting. I'm going to see what it does since it did another firmware update on Windows, which is a little weird. I wasn't expecting that, even though we just firmware updated it like not even an hour ago. Alright, so it's been a week of using the headset and playing around with it, both on Linux and on Windows. So final thought so far is that it works perfectly out of the box on Windows, as I would expect. Linux still has a long way to go. So after it did that final firmware update, the cameras and the audio device started working on Windows. On Linux, after that firmware update, the audio device started working. So I can go into Pulse Audio and I can find the DisplayPort audio output for the headset. So the speakers work now on Linux. But camera still doesn't work. Bluetooth still doesn't work. So what we've done in the meantime is we've set up the spare bedroom as our VR room. We've mounted the lighthouses up there and there, and we've set up a permanent Windows PC with some spare parts we had laying around. We got a 4690K and a 980 superclocked in here. The headset has been living in here all week long. So this is kind of the way I would recommend doing it. Just having a permanent setup ready to go instead of, putting it away every single time. It's really nice to just have a room that's got everything set up and just walk in here. So final thoughts. I appreciate that it works out of the box on Linux and doesn't require an extra piece of software or something like that. It's just all built into Steam. Unfortunately, camera doesn't work, the Bluetooth doesn't work, and the biggest issue I had with it was there was a lot of weird jittering. So moving it around, even running at 144 Hertz, for some reason I was not able to hit the frame targets that I was really looking for. So for some reason there's just this really bad stutter. It is running at the proper frame rate, but it's just every now and then you kind of move your heads around and it's just stutters, it kind of hiccups. And I've tried in XFCE, I've tried to turn compositor on, compositor off, but the way that the headset works through the GPU is it's not actually shown up as a display to the operating system, so XFCE has no idea what to do with it or anything like that, and so it's not actually set up that way, so there's no way to unroute compositing on it. So unfortunately for now, I'm going to continue using it on Windows, on this Windows PC we have in here, because everything works perfectly out of the box, whereas on Linux it doesn't. So I would not recommend you buy the Valve Index right now solely for Linux support. You would need to have a Windows PC laying around to get the full support out of the device. Unfortunately, that's where we are now.